You're welcome back to RT International. Russia's Air Force is stepping up efforts against Islamic State's main source of income. Dozens of ISIL-held oil facilities as well as numerous truck convoys carrying crude have been destroyed in recent airstrikes. Now, this is footage of a long-range bomber being refueled in mid-air on its way over the Caspian Sea. Airstrikes have been carried out by planes sent from Russia and by jets inside Syria. The Defense Ministry reports that terrorist command centers and control systems have been completely destroyed in some Syrian regions, most notably in the northern city of Aleppo. Well, in total, Russian warplanes made some 140 sorties over the weekend, hitting more than 470 jihadist targets. In comparison, the whole US-led coalition carried out 31 strikes in Syria over the same period. Meanwhile, Barack Obama has ordered an inquiry into whether the Pentagon is covering up its military failures against ISIL. That's after members of the Republican Party claim the president received doctored intelligence reports.
Destroying ISIL is not only a realistic goal, we're going to get it done.
What is true is that from the start, our goal has been first to contain, and we have contained them.
I'm saying he obviously is not getting the information.
What we hear the president and his senior officials saying to the public, it just doesn't jive with what they're saying in public and what we see on the ground.
Well, the scandal follows revelations from a former Defense Intelligence Agency chief back in July that his reports on the rise of ISIL were willfully ignored. RT's Guy Chichikan went to the State Department for clarification.
Michael Flynn said that his agency's intelligence on ISIL from 3 years ago was ignored by the administration because it did not fit the narrative. Is the administration selective when choosing what intelligence to go with and what intelligence to ignore?
Those are comments by one individual. I think there's a process underway to look at the credibility of those allegations.
More specifically about the allegations.
For me to talk about it now is inappropriate.
Todd Pierce, a former U.S. Army judge, thinks the intelligence services in America are heavily influenced by political agenda.
They're crafting the intelligence for the people that are using it, and that reaches to each faction trying to use it to their own benefit. So the president wants to make it appear like his policy is really working well, and the group of militarists are trying to use it to, you know, how they're distorting it or what is actual, to argue for more troops on the ground. You know, there's a huge faction in the United States that is never satisfied unless they have U.S. troops on the ground, because that's the only way that they feel that we can hold U.S. territory for a U.S. hegemony.
Okay, a recap of a breaking news story this hour. A video from Turkish TV reportedly shows a military jet crashing in Syria near the Turkish border. However, it's unclear at this stage which country the plane belongs to. Turkish TV reports that the jet was shot down by warplanes after it violated Turkish airspace and ignored warnings. The plane went down in the Kızıldag Mountains, which are currently a point of conflict between government troops and Syrian militants. According to media, again, the pilots managed to eject before the crash. The Turkish Prime Minister has, we believe, already ordered the country's top diplomat to consult with NATO over the situation on the border with Syria. More on that as soon as we get it in their developing story. A Facebook page titled Union of White NYU Students recently appeared online, with organizers claiming they're students at New York University, fighting for the voices of the white community to be heard. Well, this is just the latest case of similar unions appearing throughout the country. Yegor Piskunov takes a closer look.
It's the largest private university in New York and one of the finest schools in the world, NYU, and it's found itself in the center of a very nasty scandal after a group of its students allegedly started a page on Facebook upholding the white race. The so-called NYU's White Student Union's alleged goals are to quote-unquote celebrate whiteness and those of European descent. The university has officially announced that no such organization exists within its walls, which was pretty much confirmed by the NYU students we spoke with.
I don't think it actually does. It was just something that was on Facebook.
I didn't hear anything about it, no.
I read something online, as you said, on Facebook, but I didn't even read what they were talking about. I remember they were talking about that anything rather than white is racist, as you said, and I don't remember word by word the rest, but they were very racist about the situation.
Do you know any people personally who are like that?
I don't know personally, but I think I saw, and it was a big matter on Facebook. Many people were commenting and liking and, you know, reporting them.
Facebook phenomena. I think it's just a couple of guys that were too socially awkward to come out and dislike.
Probably a joke, to be honest.
A joke or not, this page does exist on the internet, with some people even making comments in its support. Moreover, fake or not, but this alleged NYU page on the internet became only one of a whole wave of what seemed to be other student pages similar to it at universities nationwide, including the University of Missouri, the University of Illinois, the University of California, Berkeley, and UCLA. And all of them send the same message.
We condemn the cowardly campaigns of moral subjugation and propaganda that seek to instill self-hatred and surrender within European American youth, and justify the continued invasion and degradation of the lands, institutions, and cultural heritage that is rightly ours. Race is all that is being talked about, but white people effectively have no voice here, because our voice is systematically excluded from discussion.
And all of this does come, frankly, at a time of real racial tensions. From protests to the sacking of the president of the University of Missouri system for failing to address racial problems on campus. Igor Piskunov, RT, reporting from New York.
Well, NYC White Union has sparked some angry comments, with many doubting the authenticity of the page for starters. Others simply say it's racist and call for it to be shut down, while many state the formation of such unions represents a white supremacist agenda, just like that of the Ku Klux Klan. We spoke to an activist from the University of Illinois, which got its own white union recently.
When white students form a white pride and white union group, what it shows is that there are white supremacists and white racists on the campus who look at seeing black rallies and black people showing racial pride and racial love for one another. They look at that as being detrimental to white supremacy or white power over black people. Black people are specifically targeted at the university level. When things go bad in the United States, then things go bad for African Americans, because we have always been historically in struggle to maintain basic material needs, and education is one of those things.
Okay, a lot of information currently coming in about our breaking news story here on RT. Just to update you, let's take a look at video from Turkish TV, which is reportedly showing a military jet crashing in Syria near the Turkish border. It's unclear which country the plane belongs to, although Turkish media are saying that it's a Syrian jet. Again, that's unconfirmed. The Turkish military is also cited as saying the jet was shot down by its warplanes after it violated Turkish airspace and ignored warnings. The plane went down in the Kızıldag mountains, which are currently a point of conflict between government troops and Syrian militants. According to media, the pilots managed to eject before the crash. Some of the video also purports to show that. The Turkish Prime Minister has ordered the country's top diplomat to consult with NATO, the United Nations and all parties concerned over the situation on the Syrian border. We will, of course, keep a close eye on that over the next 30 minutes or so and bring it to you at the top of the next hour, all our latest information. But for now, stay tuned for the Kaiser Report.